David, is the government just rearranging the decking on the Titanic?
I sometimes think that with policies like this, the government is seeing how far they can push it, how ludicrous the situation can be, how utterly absurd the suggestion before people are in uproar. It's sort of like end-of-term fever. They're seeing if they can stick a potato up the exhaust pipe. It's an absolutely ridiculous suggestion. We cannot afford this. And moreover, we should not be doing it to begin with. The fundamental problem here is that we should and must leave the ECHR, the European Convention on Human Rights. Last year, 3/4 or more of the migrants coming here were able-bodied young men under the age of 40. They're here to work, apparently, but they're here illegally in the first instance. We shouldn't be paying for this. It is not fair that at the time of a cost-of-living crisis, with inflation rampant, with people increasingly unable to afford food and basics like energy and their mortgage payments, that the foreign aid budget, which is paid for out of our taxation, is being used to house these people.
I mean, just over the course of this show so far, I have spoken about us not having enough funding to grit the roads, OK? That's caused massive travel disruption. We've got the strikes. A lot of the strikes in a lot of different sectors fundamentally centres around pay, bit on working conditions, mostly about pay. We've got cost of living crisis. I've also done the inflation figures and GDP, etc. None of that is a particularly pretty picture. And then in the same breath, I'm expected to sit here and just roll over and accept that we've got all the money in the world when it comes to housing people who decided to come here illegally and, let's be honest with you, are not fleeing war. It's a tough sell.
I mean, why, for instance, is Albania not on the white list, that is to say on the list that is clearly not of people fleeing war, fleeing conflict? As you made the point earlier, we have a massive problem with homelessness. Anyone who walks around any major city, London, Birmingham, Edinburgh, Leeds, will see this, and it's crippling for social cohesion. Why on earth should Britons be sleeping on the streets in temperatures which we've had for a week now of -3 at night, if these facilities are available? I mean, it's morally repugnant, frankly, that we should be prioritising other people over the needs of Britons, and particularly ex-servicemen and women fleeing domestic violence.
Yeah, look, 100%. Another angle on this, which I think really does go under the radar, and for the life of me I can't understand why, is people from a variety of different cultures around the world. Now, we already have massive net migration, legal migration. We already do rather well when it comes to the old student visas as well. And very often these people come from places that do not necessarily share our values when it comes to things like gay rights, when it comes to things like women's rights, etc. Different cultural norms. A lot of that centres around religious fundamentalism in some cases as well. Now, dare I say it, something similar happens when it comes to people coming across the Channel as well. Is there an irony here that a lot of the old refugees welcome in the Rainbow Banner Brigade are willingly encouraging the importation of people who perhaps do not share our cultural norms? And even the Church of England, they might one day live to regret the, one love aspect when it comes to people coming over here who don't believe in things like gay rights and women's rights.
I have to say it takes a particular kind of stupidity to attend a Palestinian rights demonstration waving a rainbow flag, a country where homosexuals are routinely murdered. I think this is one of the poisonous legacies of Blairism, that we were not allowed for 20 years to talk about these kinds of things without being accused of being essentially racist.